I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Naircross. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious, I want your heart, I want to eat his children. I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever.
And we're back.
We're back for a special event. Many in the boxing media, they'll just call us sellouts for why we even... Sellouts.
I'm gonna call me a goddamn sellout.
A lot of people not in agreement with even talking about this fight.
To sell out, you must be paid for what you were doing.
Right. So we're whoring out.
I haven't received a dime for this.
Actually, whores get paid too, though.
Yeah, we're not getting paid for this.
And nobody's pimping me.
You know who else isn't getting paid?
Other than the man.
Floyd Mayweather isn't getting my money. I'm not paying that son of a bitch.
Somebody's paying them. $300 million?
Now,
is that a bullshit number or is that true?
No, because he made over $200 million to fight Pacquiao. So I'd imagine that's a true number.
Conor McGregor's not as good as Pacquiao.
I mean, according to, some MMA people, he has a better shot. All right. So what we're talking about, this is the Mayweather podcast. The
Mayweather-McGregor podcast. You got to show some respect to McGregor.
I'd respect him tremendously as an MMA fighter. As a boxer, your professional debut, your fight. This may be worse than Lomachenko getting a fucking world title shot right off the bat. I mean, come on. At least Lomachenko was a gold medalist, one of the greatest amateurs ever.
That's true.
He earned it.
That's true. So where do we start here?
Well, let's start with Floyd Mayweather. He fought his last 6 fights on Showtime.
Yes, he did.
He made, other than a Pacquiao fight, he made an average of about $30 million to fight the likes of Robert Guerrero, Andre Berto,
Canelo Alvarez, Maidana two times,
Maidana twice, and then second to last he got Pacquiao in there, right?
Right.
This fight, so he says, you know what? Let me step up my game. Let me go out and call out the top guy in the UFC. Let me call out John Jones. Oh wait, no, John Jones is too big. Let me call out who's it? Nate Diaz. Oh no, Nate Diaz, he can box. Now let me call out just the guy with the biggest mouth and the most promotion. And that's what he did. And that's why we're here.
You know what?
I say that to say I bought all those shitty fights, right?
Right.
Every last 6 one of them, right? I'll give him a pass for the Guerrero one because that was the first one.
Really?
I give him a pass for that.
Omar Figueroa, he dispatched Robert Guerrero.
Yeah, well, I give Floyd a pass for that one. Even though some people will say he ran like a chicken.
Well, at least Ruben Guerrero would say that.
He's very conservative in all those fights. He just showed up to get his check and go home.
There was only really one guy that made him fight, and that was Maidana.
Yeah, Maidana's the only guy who made him fight. I say all that to say I bought all those pay-per-views. I'm not buying this pay-per-view.
Is this, what do we call this? Buyer's fatigue?
No.
Mayweather fatigue? What is it?
No, there's no fatigue involved. I'm fatigued for paying for pay-per-views, period. But I once bought a Bernard Hopkins versus Winky Wright.
Uh-huh.
Maybe one of the worst pay-per-view fights of all time.
We just had another one, Canelo versus Chavez.
A fight previewed with classical jazz music. Canelo and Chavez was a preview with that.
You know what? The promotion for Winky and B-Hop was like, it was like a chess players playing chess.
Yeah, which,
but I didn't know you play chess with your head.
No one wants to watch that.
Your actual physical
No
head.
one sure as hell doesn't want to pay to watch that.
No, you reach across the chessboard and headbutt your opponent.
Yes.
Like Hopkins did.
This isn't buyer's fatigue. This isn't even Mayweather fatigue. You know what this is?
What?
This is some bullshit. That's what this is.
You know what? It is, but we know why we're here, right? Look, boxing, and it's funny how Mayweather's so smart. He just sprinkles in little different words. So he's including boxing, but when he speaks of McGregor, he always makes sure to throw in combat sports. Yeah. So I like how he does that. But in general, combat sports, it's a girl in business. It's a type of sport where you're sacrificing brain cells and future health. Right. And I think Mayweather's always kept that in mind. And although Mayweather may not want to give that up versus a boxer in a boxing match, I think he's willing to take that risk, or this isn't even a risk.
This is not a risk.
Yeah, no.
There's nothing risky about this.
But he's alluded that he doesn't love boxing anymore. But we all know that Mayweather loves money.
And the worst, well, let me put my Larry Merchant hat on. You say, Floyd, you say you don't love boxing? Well, you fight like it. Watching your fights makes me not love boxing either.
But we know if there was that huge mega money fight in boxing, I think it would draw Mayweather in a little bit. But
but there is that.
Well, there was, and we already fought that guy. But look, in the current landscape of boxing, there's no star out there that could legitimately draw a big enough payday or a gate to garner as much attention as Conor McGregor. Which fight out there in boxing?
No, attention.
Could he go on a four fight press conference tour? They sold out. They're like thousands of fans in attendance. It was a show.
Attention and money, yes, I agree. But in terms of importance and a big fight, obviously. There's way bigger fights.
Yeah, no, obviously. So what did Floyd do? He said, "You know what? I can't make money in the boxing game right now.
I can't get people to pay me $30 million to fight."
So he goes and he finds the biggest name
10th ranked welterweight
in UFC.
Right.
And he's just using McGregor here. I mean, he's using McGregor's attention and his popularity and his notoriety. He's using this. And it's actually working out really good for him because McGregor's kind of doing a lot of the work for him in terms of selling this fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, you talk about using. So Floyd, post Oscar, Floyd has just been about leverage.
He always talks about De La Hoya got to pick out the gloves.
Yeah, he's
De La Hoya picked out the weight.
He's always been about leverage. So when he went over, when he had no more leverage with HBO, because HBO basically told him it's Pacquiao or what are we doing here? He used that. He used the Pacquiao fight and the fact that Showtime wanted to step up their boxing game against HBO. So he used his leverage there to get a massive contract from Showtime. Okay, let's exclude any fight but the Pacquiao fight, right? Of his 6 fights, against those opponents we talked about, should anyone on the face of the earth make $30 million to fight those guys? Hell no. No.
Maybe Canelo.
Maybe, yeah, Canelo, but then he fought Canelo too. Canelo was popular then.
He was a budding star. He's not as big as he is now.
Yeah, he's not as big as he is now. Maybe if he fought him now, I would say pay him $30 million. So he used that leverage, though, because he knew Showtime wanted to get the edge on HBO. Showtime needed a star to start,
And we've seen Showtime do this before because Tyson was an HBO
yeah, when they
guy,
got Tyson.
And they broke the bank to get Tyson over.
So he had the leverage on that. Then he had the leverage because he knew if he promised them one of the 6 would be Pacquiao, he could get his huge numbers for the other 5. And so he used that leverage. So then he got to a point after he fought Pacquiao and the fight sucked so much that he didn't really have the leverage of Mayweather Pacquiao too. Because I think anyone would say, oh, if they ran that back, it would do big numbers. It wouldn't do as big. It would still justify a big payday, but the demand wasn't there. So he's at a loss for leverage.
It's
so
not a pop to it.
Exactly. So he has no more leverage. So he's like, you know what? He had no angle. So he said, he retires, and now he's looking. He's like, where can I find my leverage? Well, I can tap into the MMA market. There's like a MMA versus boxing thing going on. He taps into that. He trolls them. Mm-hmm. He taps into Conor's fan base, right? And then after that, it's simple. And then he has all the chips now, and now he can get Showtime to pay him whatever the fuck he wants because it's going to be a massive fight. And
although it wasn't official for a while, there's almost like a 7 to maybe 8-9 month lead up to this fight because first they said Conor McGregor met with Al Heyman, and then they had negotiations, but nothing came through. And then Floyd came on several Showtime cards afterwards. He wouldn't even refer to or speak to anything going on in boxing other than, I want to fight Conor McGregor. So he's been angling for this. And,
So he gets it. There's...
But this is why he can get it, though. Like you said about the boxing and MMA.
Yeah, that's just... He just tapped into that.
Yeah,
he just tapped into hatred.
There's a legitimate dislike. I'm not sure. I guess because UFC is the hotter, newer sport. I guess some of the fans feel as if they have to, I don't know, shit on boxing. It seems like.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not sure.
it doesn't make any sense because what's the more practical skill and the more practical thing you're gonna use in real life?
Everything.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna go all out, right? You're gonna go MMA, right? If somebody's trying to fucking attack you, you're not gonna be.
You know what?
You're not gonna be like put up your dukes.
It was safe to say this is Mayweather's second MMA fight.
What was the first one?
Victor Ortiz. When Victor Ortiz.
Oh yeah,
used his
headbutt.
head.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can use your head in UFC. I don't.
Yeah. So
but Mayweather tapped into that audience, and there's a legitimate.
he's good at tapping into the people who don't like him. And the thing that happened was after the Pacquiao fight, it just wasn't the same people didn't like him, right? Mm-hmm. But he couldn't tap into that market anymore.
Because they're just like, fuck.
He couldn't con them because at that point the dislike was different. It was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore.
I mean, it was if he would have gave him maybe charged him $80 for the Pacquiao fight, but the $100 that really pissed everybody off.
They got greedy. But because at the time they thought, hey, look, this is the last cash out. But Floyd, the ultimate businessman and chess player, he I don't know how it came to him, but whoever advised him or if he came up with it was a brilliant movie. Is like, you know what? I can get a guy who's never boxed professionally before to debut against me, and I can make $300 million probably.
It's insane, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's maddening. But like I said, the reason why this works is because there are legit people who think that Conor McGregor has a chance. I was just in the barbershop the other day. A guy's like, hey, and this isn't a fake barbershop story. I was really at the barbershop. The guy's like, hey, all it takes is one punch.
Yeah,
He's like, McGregor's too big. The power. He lands one shot, it could be over for Floyd. But this is the thing. See, because there's this misconception about Floyd that he runs, he's a chicken, which could be true. But he's well versed, he's tough, and Floyd has a chin.
Yeah,
so Mayweather's not gonna go out from one punch. I mean,
that's
I
what
guess
I don't
anybody
understand.
theoretically could, but
That's what I don't understand about people. That's the whole promotion of this fight. The people who are like, who they're saying, yeah, I know it's a circus, but if he just lands one shot. These people don't understand that to be a defensive fighter in boxing, 1, you have to be fucking tough. 2, to be a defensive fighter, to have the career that he has, you have to be one of the toughest fuckers of your generation. Because Floyd's about getting hit but not getting hit, but he gets hit. It's just you don't hit him twice. You don't hit him 3 times. You don't hit him 4 times. But he can take a punch. And the idea to me that McGregor, right, even though he's a bigger guy, let's just say he
said it on All Access. Floyd's small, he's tiny. He's going to be 170 pounds on fight night probably.
Yeah, but just the accuracy and being able to hit him and all this is like, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, is McGregor going to hit him harder than Pacquiao hit him? Pacquiao didn't land 0 punches. Mosley landed punches.
Oh, Mosley.
Canelo landed punches.
No, Canelo hit the ropes, man.
No, but he landed punches. These guys didn't land 0 punches. Like, Floyd can take a punch. That's not the issue. And it's like, I would hope if you're McGregor's team that, yeah, people are selling the 1 punch at a time thing. But let's say you're just trying to win an actual fight, right? And it's not a circus. You're the bigger guy. You got a margarita, right? You just got to take a lot of punishment. You got to do your body work and break him down in later rounds. That's what you got to do, right? If this was a real fight between like,
here's the thing. This is the tough part about that method.
You can't do that against Floyd because he's a freaking all-time great.
It's not even that. It's just that you have to have the condigtioning to do it. And McGregor's,
that's the other thing too.
McGregor's, UFC fights are championship
I will
fights
say
are
this,
5 rounds.
I will say this in McGregor's favor, right? You're talking about an MMA fight where, it's a full body experience, right? It's a little more taxing. So maybe, 3 rounds, it sounds like, oh, that's not a lot, but 3 rounds, shit, you don't know what that equates to in a boxing ring.
There's a lot of mental pressure.
Yeah.
But you could say the same thing for when he's going to step into the ring, although he's only going to be specifically focusing on the boxing aspect. He's in a totally new environment that he hasn't been in before. And he's going to be thinking He's gonna get nervous.
You know what? You know what?
Energy.
You know what would get me to buy this fight if McGregor had fought. Not even recently, maybe like 5 years ago. Maybe in Ireland when he first started before his MMA career, he fought in Ireland.
He was like 10-0 or something.
No, not even at 6-2 or something. He was in the ring. You know, it was natural to him, right?
Right.
At some point in his life, and then he goes he becomes a big star in MMA, but like. All of this is just so like he hired Joe Cortez just to go over him dealing
with the rules
in the ring,
how to walk away,
just to try to literally
down.
Beat his instincts out of him.
Right.
Like that's a second or 2 seconds to process in your brain that you don't have when you're in the ring with Mayweather.
One of the things that they highlighted in All Access is that McGregor, he started off as a boxer.
He did, but what does his boxing trainer say over there in Ireland? Like he stopped coming to the gym less and less once he got into MMA, and they're like, "Where you been?"
But he has the concept of boxing. It's not.
Yeah, he's not.
It's just that he's not as technical. Obviously, he's not as experienced, but his method of boxing is going to be a little bit more unconventional, just because he's been trained in different facets of fighting. So
I think too that
but in theory, not saying that he has a chance. You would think that somebody, as good as Conor McGregor, if he could just only have to focus on one aspect of a fight as opposed to, the different styles that he faced when he gets in the octagon, you would think in theory that he might be able to perform better. But, against maybe an average boxer, not against a guy that's been doing it for, 2 decades.
Yeah, I think when people criticize they say, oh, he doesn't know how to. Well, obviously he's a better boxer than the fucking average guy off the street. He's a world-class athlete in a combat sport, right?
But, Chris Van der Heerden gave him that work.
No, yeah, but again, he's not a better boxer than an actual boxer. I'm saying he's a better boxer than the fucking mailman who's going to deliver my mail today, right?
Right.
But, like...
I don't know. That guy might be a former Golden Gloves.
Yeah, we don't know. But, like, I don't know. All right, let's talk about something. Missed opportunity, right?
Well, hold on, because there's still more to talk about.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to point out when we talk about how much money they're going to make.
Okay.
Floyd, he has his circus of a fight. So he has the MMA people. He has the Floyd fans.
He's got the Floyd haters.
He's got the Floyd haters. He's got just the casual fans. There's one group that he is missing, that they're just lost money, I think. And that's the actual hardcore boxing fans. Because people, and that number is very small in terms of the $300 million that he will receive, right? It will maybe to him not make that much of a difference, but the way he could have really captured everything else, there's no way he could have done it in the ring, because the fight itself is a joke to anybody who follows boxing. What he could have really done, what they all could have done, is put on just an absolutely loaded undercard the actual real boxing fans have to watch, just because you have to watch a fucking good undercard.
Like if they had Danny Garcia
against Matisse, then you're saying, yeah, this is a circus, but I kind of have to watch this other fight because it's kind of fucking important to the actual
we
sport.
do have Badu Jack versus Cleverly.
But that's an
175-pound debut.
That's an okay fight.
Yeah, no.
I mean, when you say Cleverly, the only thing I'm thinking of Cleverly getting clubbed over his head by Kovalev. That's what I think of when I think of Nathan Cleverly.
You got
and then Gervonta Davis again fighting somebody who he's going to destroy. And then that's the other thing that sucks. Like real boxing fans, we got to miss out on Gervonta Davis, who's fun to watch.
Well, you don't got to miss out. You pay $100.
I'm saying the lost opportunity here. If you had thrown together a stacked undercard, then I could be like, okay,
maybe a concert.
No, I don't want. Who had a concert?
A la Rock Nation, how they did their pay-per-views.
No, someone else. Before Pacquiao fight, there was like a concert. Remember when he fought Clottey? It was at Cowboy Stadium. Yeah,
okay.
I think Pitbull or somebody. It was fucking horrible.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like that's just lost money to me. It's like if you would have loaded the undercard, then for sure you got 100% of the people engaged. You got the whole world watching. Now you got like 98% of the world.
Which is still pretty good.
I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying, you want to get that 300 million to 301 million.
Yeah, Floyd is just he slowly separated himself from boxing.
Yeah, that's the other shitty part.
Like he's a promoter.
I had an idea too. All right, go on, because I have an idea how. Because Floyd with this fight, I mean, The boxers love Floyd just because he's rich and they know how hard it is to be. Also, we never talked about it. Counterpunch on Netflix. Great
Yes, very good.
Great doc. You can see how shitty it is to be a boxer.
Exactly.
Unless you're Peter Quillen.
Yeah.
But then even for him, it didn't work out too well.
Well, he's doing good.
Yeah. They love him, because he makes so much money. But
and they know the game.
They know the game.
They marvel and they kind of admire.
But
how he can make so much money.
This is really shitty. This is really shitty.
Is it?
This is really low. So I had an idea of how he can bring, get back in the good graces of the boxing, the hardcore fest. No, it's not too late. This is after he retires. This is after the fight. All right? Okay, first he needs to do two things. Because even though people like me and hardcore fans aren't going to watch it, right? Or the people who aren't going to watch it, he needs to knock this guy out, right? Because don't embarrass the sport by getting knocked out or losing or even having a fucking competitive fight that lasts longer than 6 rounds. Do you remember when Conor and Canelo were fighting? And you're like, oh, this is cute, but this is going on a little too long. You're twice the size of this guy. What's taking so long?
Right.
Don't push this too far.
See, but that's the point I was going to bring up, that Floyd is...
I'll save my other point for the last.
He's detached himself from boxing,
I have the way he can reattach himself.
That's why he's...
I know how he can reattach himself.
That's why he's sprinkling terms like combat
No,
sports.
I know how he can reattach himself. All right, make your final points on the McGregor and the Mayweather circus.
Look, Floyd knows what he's doing here. He obviously doesn't love the sport anymore, but he loves the money.
Right.
And
I love the dough.
And it's a calculated risk.
More than you know.
Exactly. And I want to call it a calculated risk because, he's not the same fighter he was 21 years ago.
Oh, God.
He's not the same fighter he was 2 years ago. No, but seriously, he's 40 years old. He's been out of the ring 2 years. People are not considering this boxing. People are considering it a circus. So, say by some wild chance in hell that he were to lose, it's not really affecting his boxing legacy. Let's be honest here. I mean, it'll be a meme on the internet. It'll be hot for a while, but is he really affecting his boxing legacy? He's not in the good graces of some boxing fans. And whether he wins or loses this fight, he's still not going to be in their good graces. And for him, even if he were to somehow lose, he's making the highest amount of money he's ever made for his whole career at 40 plus years old. So, and then he even alludes to the fact that, Stephen A. Smith asked him, because I watched this interview, this 30-minute interview with Stephen A. Smith. It was just riveting.
My condolences.
He asked him about what if he loses. And Mayweather's even said this against Pacquiao, but he's saying for the McGregor fight, he says, when you're at this stage and you're making this much money, you don't lose.
Yeah.
So this is a win-win for Floyd in any stretch of the imagination. The check is going to clear.
I see. I agree.
He's not going to embarrass the sport because he's not a part of boxing anymore.
I agree.
Look. Mayweather, he could have took, half the money, right?
Right.
Because he'd still get $100 million for coming back against somebody.
Yeah.
And he could have possibly put him over, because he's 40 years old. Obviously, he's the best boxer of the generation, but 40 is 40. So you might come out there and you might be a different guy. He could have put over a younger fighter and made half the money, but he's been separating himself from the sport so much.
All right, I have a second idea how he can get good graces, how he can reattach himself. One, why don't you release that sparring video of you and a young Earl Spence Jr.
Was that going to help?
Let's see where he was knotting you up, bruising those ribs for the cold fight. All right, go. Do you have any other points? Because
my main point is he's built this up to such an attraction that it doesn't count toward. They even asked him too. What are you saying that people, saying that this fight shouldn't count? That you'll still be 49-0, and he says, "Well, I don't care what they think. As long as I get paid."
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I think he does care. He likes to say he doesn't care, but he's the type of guy who he wants his cake, right? You want to have your cake and eat it too? That's him. Because he wants to say all this. He wants to have the money. But you know what? He wants to have the ultimate trump card, right? I'm 50-0. I'm retired. I retire 50-0. One better than Rocky Marciano. Mm-hmm. That's what he wants to say. That's all he wants to do. And he'll spin it however he wants to spin it. He'll be like, you know what? This is no different than when you start your career and you fight somebody else that's won and, never fought before. I just happen to do that at the end.
Right.
I just placed it differently on my resume. See, because if he wins this fight, he already has everything he wants in boxing, right? He already accomplished whatever he wants. He already won. But they kind of miscalculated, right, the numbers, and he just ended up on this crooked number of 49-0. And whatever he says, however he says it, 50-0 just sounds so clean, right? It's one more than Marciano. It's better. So he need to find a way to get that 50-0. But he ain't going to get in there with no Earl Spence Jr., no Keith Thurman, not even a fucking Sean Porter, He's not going to do that. But I have an idea how he can.
So you're saying, well, I mean, obviously he's always cared about his record. Do you think he's actually, as Floyd at a point at this age, is he like legitimately threatened and scared that he could lose his last fight?
I think he feels that way every time he fights. He fights like a guy who cares about winning. Like
Is it about winning or just
it's about winning, because if you watch Floyd fight, every fight is the same. Floyd is doing fucking math in his head. I need to get to 7 rounds. That's it. Once I get to 7 rounds.
See, but he'll dominate whole fights though.
Yeah, he will dominate whole fights, but that's based on the skill level of his opponent, right? In his head, he's just, and you can see it a lot too if in the first Maidana fight. That was a rough ass fight.
That one could have won either way.
Yeah, and so Floyd had some late rounds, he had to really put his stamp on it. But all right, so this is how he can get himself in the good graces of boxing.
Release the Earl Spence tapes.
All right, I was just joking about that, although I would love to watch that.
He said he does owe the fans.
This is how he can repay the fans.
Give us $100.
A real meaningful, other than money, real meaningful.
No, he's Money Mayweather.
Nice gesture to the sport of boxing that will be written in his Wikipedia page, in a positive manner from here into the end of time.
And then be later edited.
No, you can't edit this one. In 5 years, right, when the International Boxing Hall of Fame has to induct first ballot Hall of Famers, considering all of the people, right, all of the fucking people who just retired, all of the greats who just retired, who are, in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famers, right? But what's going to happen? Because Pacquiao's probably going to retire this year too, right?
Probably.
Floyd can say, you know what? He can take his name off the ballot and say, hey, I'll go in first year next year. That will be how you get in the good graces of people. We can say he's first ballot no matter what, right? So why tell Marquez? Why tell Pacquiao? Why tell Klitschko? Right? Because look, when you do the math, Cotto,
They say they only take 3 fighters.
Yeah, Cotto, Klitschko, Bradley, Marquez, Pacquiao, Mayweather, Mosley.
Roy Jones possibly.
That's 8 fucking guys. There's no way in hell any of those guys don't deserve to be, in my opinion. I guess you could say maybe Bradley's not first ballot Hall of Famer, but those other guys, like, so if Floyd wants to do something selfless, because that's how you get people. That's how you get in people's good graces. You have to do something selfless. He said, you know what? Take me the following year. I'll give up one of my spots so that Vladimir Klitschko can go in first ballot. Hey, would Klitschko do that? Klitschko would do that. You've read those letters Klitschko wrote this year.
Let me tell you why Floyd would prefer to do something like he doesn't want he wants the Hall of Fame induction when he gets into to be all
but
about
that's
him.
why it's a win-win for him.
But look,
because he can win.
What if he were to go on with Roy Jones? How many people were talking about, oh, prime Roy Jones is better than anything Floyd ever put out on the ring?
Yeah, that's why
he wouldn't even want to be in the class with those guys.
This is why this is perfect for him, because he can just skip that debate. Because I would say Roy Jones has to go in first ballot, right? If all of those names are listed, who are the 3 you would take?
You got to take Roy Jones.
Yeah. How do you not take Manny Pacquiao?
And Floyd
How do you
Mayweather.
not take Floyd Mayweather? Okay, so then what happens to Klitschko, a guy who dominated the heavyweight division, who has more heavyweight title, fights and wins than anyone other than Joe Louis in his career? How do you not take Klitschko?
I mean, you can with those two
Yeah,
guys.
you can't, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
I got you. If he did that, you'd be like, Floyd's a nice guy.
no, but Mayweather doesn't give a shit about it.
I'm saying he's not going to do it. I'm proposing this. Okay.
All right, so let's talk about just a little bit about the Conor McGregor aspect of it.
All right. Yeah. Let's wrap this. This is already going on too long for a fight that I'm not going to watch.
Yeah, well, look. Let's talk about McGregor. McGregor's a smart man.
Yeah.
How many MMA fights has he been in?
I have no idea.
It's probably like maybe less than 20 or something like that.
Well, in MMA you fight less because it's just more of a beating on your fucking body.
But he's leveraged himself. You know, even though Floyd chose him, he made a name for himself enough to put himself in his position. And it's just hilarious because the All Access. Did you see when he was talking about Paulie? The reason why he even brought Paulie, I don't even think it wasn't even to actually get experience of boxing. He just wanted to be able to get some licks in on him because Malignaggi trashed him like the previous year about, you know, his boxing technique and whatnot. And
here's the thing. He has 24 MMA fights. He's 21-3.
He tapped out 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in MMA, you fucking tap out. Do you want to die of, you know, no oxygen to the brain?
Well, a lot of people said he was a punk for tapping out. Mayweather said it.
Oh, we're about to see.
But I'm pretty sure Mayweather would tap out if in set
Here's
position.
the thing too, like with the Paulie thing.
Yeah, what did you make of that?
This is what's disturbing about the Paulie thing. If he would have really brought it to Paulie, right? And I mean for real, like even if it would have been 50-50, right?
Right.
Then if it would have been 50-50, they would have released more than 45 seconds. Because anything other than Paulie knocking him out, right? Or clowning him like skill wise, kind of legitimizes Conor. Like, oh, he can actually hang with the fucking former world champion who's been in there with some great fighters himself. But they only released 45 seconds of it. Like, that's alarming to me because it's like, what could Paulie have really done in those 2 sparring sessions that you're so...
Well, Malignaggi is saying that he won 10 of the 12 rounds.
I have no reason to doubt Malignaggi.
But if you did look at Paulie, he did look pretty nicked up, though.
Yeah, but Paulie's a fair-skinned dude. I mean, it's a fight. And Conor's a rough dude. You're going to get hit. But how many... Shit, I watch a fight every weekend where a guy looks like he got fucking in a car crash. Doesn't mean you didn't win a fucking fight. If you win the rounds, you win the rounds. So that's what's alarming to me. It's like,
but I think that was more of probably a revenge move for Conor McGregor, and just a part of the circus and bringing in attention to this.
No, yeah, it is. But again, when we're talking about how you tap into those hardcores who are not going to watch it, who are hardcore boxing fans, release the full sparring sessions. Let me see that you can box, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's not that much of a joke. But the fact that they didn't, that's kind of alarming. Like, how bad was it? Really, you can only release 45 seconds.
But they want that. I think the point of that was just give them that teaser to make the fans want more. Nobody
with a fucking brain thinks that like you knocked out Paulie. Like, I mean, he was on Twitter. They posted a picture with him and Frank Muir and some other MMA guys chopping it up like after the sparring session.
Well, McGregor said that.
According to McGregor, he's concussed on his way to the hospital.
He was badly concussed.
Yeah, sure.
And he got the hell out of there.
It's just that was alarming. It's like, really, how bad could it have been? And then they kind of fucked up with how they handled that because Berto was supposed to spar with them and Berto canceled it because he didn't want to be dealing with that unprofessionalism, which I don't blame him. But that would have been a good sparring session for him to get in there with Berto. That's for current day Floyd. It's probably a better comp than, you know.
But even in the end, I think
also it's just really stupid to bring in Malignaggi, right? Let's say the whole time your whole plan is to make him look bad to poke some fun at him. It's just really stupid. It's petty because you're thinking short term when you should be thinking long. Big picture, what's bigger? Getting your digs in on Paulie who trashed you in December, or actually beating Floyd Mayweather and shocking the world? What's bigger of those two?
We know what's bigger.
Okay, so then why not bring Paulie in? You know, get your digs in later.
Well, from what I access, it looked like Malignaggi was receptive and was complimentary.
Paulie's a smart dude. Keep him in your camp this whole time. Watch video with them. You know, maybe not have like a real hardcore sparring session with him. Just have them
teachable sparring.
It's just so short sighted, and it just speaks to what this shit is, which is a fucking circus. Which is why they're not getting my money.
Was a cash grab. But yeah, no, I would have liked to see him because in All Access he talked about how people are always running away from themselves by switching trainers because he's elected to just keep who he's had in his corner.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, we talked about this. But bring in some boxing trainers with the guy. No, don't fire your old guy. Keep him. No,
I would have liked to maybe see like a Robert Garcia or Abel Sanchez, just guys that can teach you how to throw power punches. You know, just. Because look at their respective fighters, like a Golovkin or a Mikey Garcia, just guys are just technically sound. But maybe it's just too much to incorporate in
It's
such
not
a small time.
Too much though. You're bringing in people for edits. You're bringing in editors. We're not saying change your whole foundation. Just bring in some people to edit. Like the tone I got from All Access was that, and this is how they portray it. Floyd is not taking it serious, and Conor taking this very serious. You know, you take this real fucking serious. Bring in Robert Garcia, Abel Sanchez, just for some input. You know, what's wrong with that? They're not gonna ask for a lot of money.
Well,
Like, come on, man. It's like, what the fuck?
But yeah, and then it's just, I don't know, like his technique looks awful. I saw him doing warm-ups, and he's getting, many boxers have been doing the McGregor challenge because he was doing that swinging stuff with his arms.
Yeah.
It's just his uppercuts are just trash.
Let's just say this.
But so do you think, because Conor is a smart guy, do you think he's kind of holding back and he'll look a little bit better once the fight comes around? Or is this just his technique that bad?
Yes. No, I think he's better than they've let on. He has to be. He's better than they let.
Well, did you see the Van Heerden tapes?
Yeah, but that was how long ago was that?
Yeah, that was probably a few years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
So I think he's better than he let on. He's going to surprise people, but even surprising people. You said Floyd is disconnected, so nothing can do to. No, if Floyd loses this fight, I don't give a goddamn. All right. We talked about him. I talked about he could get in people's good graces by not taking the first year in the Hall of Fame. If he loses this fight,
he won't even be in the Hall of Fame.
He should not be in the Hall of Fame because this is the biggest fucking joke of all time. He better not lose this fight.
He better not, right?
If he loses this fight, that would be the biggest joke ever.
Okay, so what do you think about, because Mayweather's saying he owes the fans? Do you think
who is he talking about? The fans he owes are people like me. The casual fans who bought Mayweather Pacquiao, they've only saw 2 Mayweather fights in their life. Mayweather against De La Hoya, Mayweather against Pacquiao. And this will be the third one. So who does he owe?
So, but do you think that, what do you think, is this just routine for Floyd? Is he just going to fight the way he always fights? Because he's saying he has to step to him.
This happens all the time. All the time. Floyd's, I'm going to go toe to toe. How you want it? You going out on your face or your ass? Well, either way, you going out. Or you going out looking at the lights or your face in the canvas, right? Oh, right. What did he ask Ricky? Was it Ricky Hatton?
He said, "Are you willing to die?"
Well, Ricky Hatton was willing to die.
Yeah,
I'll give Ricky credit for that. Hatton had no problem. Floyd talks. He's just out in a fight. At the end of the day, he's the most disciplined fighter I've probably ever seen in my life because he's disciplined to the point where he neuters somebody to the point where, like, okay, you can kind of take some more chances. And Floyd's like, nope, let's run it back. Remember how what did we compliment Crawford for when he scored Postol? Is that fight was over, right? Postol had no more steam on his punches. He was tired. He was debilitated. He had been beaten down. He was done, right? There's no reason for Crawford to keep the same game plan. Step it up, finish the show. Said, nope, I'm going to take my victory. That was, what do we call that? A Mayweather performance. And that's what you're going to get. Why wouldn't you get that the 50th time?
So,
especially if Conor comes out and kind of gives Floyd a little edge that he wasn't expecting, Floyd is really going to go into safe mode. He's going to go Control Alt F7 or whatever it is on
I just don't believe that McGregor's conditioned enough. I mean, I cannot see how Floyd Mayweather, because all Floyd really has to do is just go to the body a little bit.
Yes.
In the mid rounds. And that's going to, that'll set up Conor for his demise.
I think the other thing too is, like, if his legs are good, which sometimes off a rest, he does move a little bit better. Because in that run of 6 straight fights, I think people were saying he looked old and stuff like that. That's because he was fighting like more often, right? But you remember when he fought Guerrero after going to jail, right? And his previous fight before that was Cotto, right? He had that long layoff, and he was moving like he was 20 years old against Guerrero because he had a long layoff to rest. And he's one of those guys where, like, his skills don't get rusty, but maybe the rest is going to be good for him. And if he's moving around like he was against Guerrero or in his younger days, it's going to be fucking ugly. Because he's faster than, even at 40 years old, he's faster than McGregor. I've seen even if he's hiding some skill, I've seen the actual speed. You can't really fucking hide that hand speed.
Yeah.
This is the joke. Well, see, now we're doing what I didn't want to do, which is talk realistically about a joke of a fight.
Well, yeah, but there's that aspect of people that do take it serious.
Well, if you take this fight seriously, I got a bris to sell you in San Francisco.
There are fans that are angry with you.
With who?
With you.
Well, you know what?
You wouldn't talk about Lomachenko, but you talk about this.
I didn't want to talk about Lomachenko because Lomachenko is a real boxer. He would never participate in this tomfoolery. He respects the game. No, my beef with Lomachenko is my same beef I had with Triple G for a while. It's just like I want to see him fight more. I guess it's misplaced. I say just because we're on a podcast and I'm joking. But like my beef isn't with Lomachenko. It's with his people. Put him in there with somebody better to challenge him. He's clearly better than everybody he's fucking fighting. Give the people something to watch.
So what do you think this pay-per-view does? Do you think this breaks Pacquiao Mayweather?
Yes, I do.
Really?
More people care about this fight because you have two markets. The same people who bought Pacquiao Mayweather will buy this fight, and you tap into the MMA fans who never watch boxing.
And Conor, I mean, he just goes about his regular career after this. Or could see him maybe fighting Malignaggi?
No, he's not going to box after this.
He's not going to box.
There's no reason
again?
because I mean, this is about money. This is about winning a lottery. Why would you go? Even if you get a lot of money,
look, could he not?
No,
he could make one more money.
No.
He could make a little bit more.
He's going back to the UFC. Also, too, we don't know what his take is from this fight, and we'll never know because he has probably a manager and Dana White and all these people cutting out his money. I mean, Floyd, we know he's just paying two people, the IRS and Al Heyman. That's it.
Well, Mayweather said he is the IRS and he's going to tax that ass.
Well,
let's just go off a couple of bullshit things that you heard.
First, Mayweather, pay your taxes first, okay?
What was your favorite? What really set off your bullshit-ometer? Mine was I don't give a fuck if it's in the octagon. That was my favorite line.
Mine was in the only episode of All Access I watched where he's talking and then you can clearly see the IRS problems are on his mind. So he wants to remind people how rich he is. So he has a guy with a backpack coming. He just starts stacking money on the table. And then he goes to sit back down and he's like, now excuse me before the money interrupted us. You brought the money out. What are you talking about, you idiot? All right, I'm done talking about this fight.
You're done?
Give me your prediction.
Yeah, no, I don't see. I think McGregor is going to go balls to the wall.
6 rounds or less.
Yeah, I'm going under 6 rounds. I mean, all Floyd's good.
If Floyd loses his fight, will you agree with me that he should be banned from the Hall of Fame?
No, because he separated himself from boxing. This
okay.
isn't a boxing event anymore.
Since he's separated from boxing, should he then be banned for the Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame?
Obviously not.
Okay.
No, I'll say like 5th round knockout.
All right.
Because
one better than Canelo and
people think that Floyd can't punch, but he can punch. And accuracy is just as good as being, a power puncher. And from the stuff that I've seen, McGregor, he's a little bit unorthodox. He's kind of wide. So if those are if that's the real way that he boxes and that he throws uppercuts, like a straight right down the pipe is going to put his lights out.
Yes. All right. I'm not watching the fight. I will watch the highlights on YouTube and
also
on ESPN.
8-ounce gloves.
And we'll be back, I guess, soon because we got to talk about Crawford and Ndongo after the most intense face-off I've ever seen in my life. Oh, my God.
That was
depending on when you listen to this, we've already talked about it. So we're going to see that one, and then we got to talk about that.
This is like one of those rap CDs where you got
and then finally,
like 5 minutes before.
Finally, the real biggest fight of the year is on the horizon. We're talking about Cotto and Kamagai.
Oh, amazing fight.
We're talking about Canelo.
And then there's that Superfly card, an amazing card.
But can we focus? God damn it, Canelo and Triple. Every year there is one fight in boxing that means everything. Last year was Kovalev and Ward. Mm-hmm. The year before it was Pacquiao and Mayweather. The year before that it was what am I missing? Was it Mayweather and Canelo? I guess.
2014? No, I think that was 2013.
What was 2014?
2014? I'm not sure.
God. All right. We'll figure it out before the next spot. This year is Canelo and Triple G. And Triple G he's gone from the guy who is being ducked to the underdog. And we'll get into that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. And please.
What?
Rate, review, all of that stuff. We want the MMA fans too.
Please send this man $100 so he can watch the fight.
I watch John Jones and Cormier. So
you know what? If John Jones fights Brock Lesnar, I will watch my first MMA fight.
All right.
Good. Thanks for listening.